Hi, my name is Heather Johnson, and I have a master's in geophysical engineering and a background in data analysis. I wanted to briefly show the effects that the proposed new building would have on the park and the surrounding residential area with this model that I helped create. This model shows the building overlaid on the satellite image of the area. The building is 70 feet in this model, which is the estimate of 15 feet for the first story and 11 feet for each of the 5 other stories above it. This is mostly to show the impact of the shadows on the surrounding area at different times of day and seasons. Right now, birds are nesting in and near the park. If the building was there, this would impact the shading on the lake in the morning when the sun should be shining on the lake. Also note that the 65 mature trees that are used for nesting and nesting material are not here, and instead this gray here is all concrete. And so in the spring, we have really cold nights, cold mornings, and this big shadow will inevitably create longer into the season at having like ice on the pond, on the lake, and that will most definitely affect the wildlife that resides there. So yeah, you can see that the sun rises around 6:30, and you can just see this big looming shadow that's all across the the lake, and then probably a bigger issue is in the winter. So I'm going to go now to December and go back to standard time. And so now you can see that the sun rises later, and we have this big shadow on the north side of the lake. And all through the day, the whole north side of the building is in the shadows. And then by around 1:30, 1:40, around 2, these houses, these condos over here in this residential area are starting to get in the shade. And so that's really early in the day for them to be in the shadows. And this is in direct conflict with the current ordinances that are in place. And I think that if the building were not as tall, not as large of a footprint, and was not as invasive to the area, it would be a lot better, because there's going to be issues with snow removal, with the road right here, and with much of the area being in the shadows in the winter is going to be a really big problem. And for our wildlife, it's also a problem. And the last thing I want to show is just the previous footprint of this whole area. And the building was much smaller before, and it's not as invasive, and it's not as big of an issue with our neighborhood. And that's it, and thank you for listening. Thanks.